A strategy to fill open jobs is to hire someone who may lack the skills but has learning potential. I'll show how to use a tool to do that in this video. Hello, I'm Stephen Goldberg of Optimus Performance, bringing you practical tips and ideas on leadership, team development, and employee performance in the workplace. In my last video, I talked about how some companies are hiring employees that may lack the skills but have the potential to learn. In fact, I talked about how to do that. And in this video, I want to show an assessment, a tool that I use with my clients to determine who to hire. And in this case, it can help you to look at if they have the learning potential to do just that, to learn the skills of the job. But there are a lot of jobs that are coming up that require new skills that even universities aren't really teaching yet, and that you can train somebody on if they have a learning potential. Now, I mentioned in my last video that I use a total person assessment to help determine the fit for the job. So we create a performance model for that job, and then we assess the person and see how they fit. Now, I'm bringing up on screen a summary page of what that looks like. And of course, I've removed the name of the person because this is actually an employee that we just assessed for one of my clients. Now, also, I used this other assessment prior to this one, which is called the Step 1 survey, and that will help at the outset determine the work attitude of the person, or the attitude towards work, their integrity, their work ethic, things like that. And I think that's really important. I used that prior to going to this next assessment that I'm going to show you. So you have to make sure that you're hiring somebody with the right attitude, and that they're reliable, that they're honest, and that's what that first assessment is made for. The second assessment is to determine, can they learn the skills of the job? Again, if it's not something that requires maybe higher level of education. So the thinking style measures 4 areas: learning verbal skill, verbal reasoning, numerical skill, and numerical reasoning. And that's averaged out into what we call the learning index. And that will tell us overall what is the pace of learning of this person, what is their capacity to learn. So if the performance model, which is the shaded area, if the person is falling within there, that means that they could learn the skills of the job, or at least learn what's required for the job in a reasonable amount of time. So in this case, the person scored above the performance model, outside of it. So it means that they do have the capacity to learn, although this is a warehouse job. So the thinking style is more on the lower end because there's not a lot of complexity to it. But I want to point out that this person has potential to learn a lot more than what this particular job is offering. And so you can create other performance models to predict their fit for that particular job in the future. Now, the behavioral traits this person fits well. As you can see, they're pretty much within the range. There's a few areas where they fall outside, but overall there's a 78% job match, which is okay. It's not amazing, but for this particular job, it's okay. Where I find it interesting is their interest, where their top interest is mechanical, and that's one of the required interests for the job. There's 6, in this case, occupational interest areas possible, and we identify the top 3 for the job. This person has 1. So the other 2 is not within their their interest area. It doesn't mean that they won't be interested in those tasks, but it's not their top motivation. So this tells me that, wow, this person is motivated by mechanical, by working physically, by creative pursuits. So they like to maybe do artistic tasks or get involved in some kind of art or creative pursuit. And maybe they like to solve problems. Creativity, solving problems is part of creativity. And they also like technical stuff. So this tells me that this person may be interested in a different role in the future. And what I could do is explore that with them, find maybe something in the company that we would require in the future, because the company that was hiring this person is a high technology company in the telecom field, and they're always looking for talented people that can learn their technology or develop into a good employee that can, add value to the company. So maybe in the future we could identify a role that this person could potentially fill, and even, pay for their tuition to start learning that. Maybe even give them some time off a little bit so that they could study. So when you do this type of action, you're helping the person grow and develop, and you're also filling a potential need for the company in the future. And this would also create a bond with the employee. If you're helping them grow and learn, well, this will create a connection with them that they will not be tempted to leave. They'll have a sense of giving back to the company. So they would really think twice or more than twice about leaving the company for whatever reason. If they were approached by a headhunter or a recruiting firm, chances are that they would not be open to looking elsewhere unless there was something causing them dissatisfaction, or if they felt they weren't being paid adequately. So those are the types of things that you can strategically do to fill open jobs by hiring somebody that has the potential to grow, that has the right attitude, and that you could target to fill a need in the future. So I hope this is something that, whether you're using a tool or not, I highly recommend it. It really makes hiring easier. It makes finding the right fit for the job so much better. And this is a huge part of performance when it comes to people being able to do the job and meet performance expectations. If it's kind of like if the glove fits, wear it. There's no issues. If the job fits, let them do it. Just support them. That's my approach to hiring and performance. Starts with getting the right person in the job. So if you'd like more information on this particular tool, there's a link in the description of this video. I'd be happy to take you for a test run on it, send you sample reports, whatever you need. Check out some of the related videos. I just did a whole series on hiring and recruiting based on the current job market situation. So there's links to that in the description of the video. There's also a playlist on recruiting and selection where you'll find those videos. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on notifications. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk again soon.